Alex Bregman, could he be a target for the Cubs?
You are Locked On Cubs, your daily Chicago Cubs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are Locked On Cubs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day, alongside Sam Olber. I'm Matt Cozy. Sam and I are lifelong fans, taking our passion into a discussion with you on all things Cubs. Thank you for being part of the show and making us your first listen today. And the best way you can help us grow the show is to listen every day, like the video, and comment anything below. Today's episode is presented by our great partner at FanDuel. The NFL playoffs are almost here next weekend, but it's not too late to get in on the regular season action this final week with FanDuel, because right now new customers can finish the season strong with $250 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. We're going to talk the Cubs' newest bullpen signing, an exhaustive list of the remaining free agents that I put together, and we're going to start with the outside possibility of Alex Bregman possibly signing with the Cubs. Sam, welcome to the show, and I want to welcome everyone.
This is my first
to
show.
2025.
Thanks for welcoming me to my own show.
I meant to welcome everyone else.
Did I miss something here? Or no, listen, happy 25 to everybody out there. Happy New Year. I had a very, I would go as far as to say average to below average New Year's.
Yeah.
But I'm glad to be back. I missed the show. It's been a couple of
Me
days.
too. Yeah.
And
nice job with the solo episode.
yeah, it wasn't one of my better episodes. And so I
tape.
am excited to bring in this new year. We got some big things coming. Let's just say it. Everybody says that, but we do.
Okay.
And,
Wow.
let's talk about a certain third baseman.
Alex Bregman is still a free agent and is the best position player still on the board. Entering the offseason, MLB trade rumors projected Bregman for a 7-year, $182 million deal. Now there are rumblings, though, of a limited market and that Bregman and his agent Scott Boras are open to a 2 or 3 year deal with an opt-out after the first year. On his Bleacher Report live stream on Wednesday, the New York Post and MLB Network's John Heyman, man, he works at a lot of places, listed the Cubs as, quote, an outside possibility for Bregman. The Tigers have the strongest interest, with the Blue Jays, Mets, Red Sox also in the mix. Folks, before we get into Bregman with the Cubs, you're going to write in the comments, or you're going to say to yourself in your car doing laundry or working out, John Heyman put out this report to put pressure on the Tigers and or build leverage for Bregman in the Boras camp. And I know that already. Okay, I know that. Sam, I want to discuss the outside possibility,
please,
of this player putting on a Cubs uniform. Where do you see a fit? Do you even like Bregman? I know it's probably a leverage play, but let's dream a little bit.
Well, this beats the Vidal Brujan segment.
Thank you.
So we'll go to that, which people were really interested in.
Yes.
Yeah, I think so. Here's my counter, what you just said about the leverage stuff. I actually do think the Cubs have an outside chance for the exact reason that you said. If he does like a 2-3 year deal with an option after year one, the Cubs love those type of deals.
Yes, they
They
do.
love negotiating. Oh, you know what? We only got him on the books for 1 year, and okay, we'll worry about that later. We got Tucker for 1 year. So if all else fails, let's kind of look at it like a Bellinger situation last year. If he doesn't, if the market doesn't meet his demands or wants, then I think the Cubs could come in as that fun, cheap, long, short-term deal sort of option for maybe next year only, as you said. So I think it's a possibility. something's got to happen at some point. This team has a lot of money to spend, and we're going to talk about Mr. Thielbar at the end of the episode. But that didn't cost you a whole lot of money. I still don't even know what the total was on that.
I have that for you.
Okay, good. Tease that.
Yeah, later.
So they've got money to spend here, and at some point they got to spend it. And Alex Bregman would be a really nice fit. And then, of course, if you trade Bregman, then all the Nico rumors will start back up again, because you ideally would want Matt Shaw then at second base, and then you don't have as much of a place for Nico Horner. I'm interested in this. I think it would be a really fun acquisition. I think it's obviously unlikely. It would have to be his price would come down, but I do think Alex Bregman makes the Cubs better. And at some point, there's got to be a big move to be made.
Yeah, and I think you're onto something with the Horner trade chatter increasing, and maybe this goes without saying, but we're going to discuss all the options here. I'm not sure I like the idea of adding Bregman to the current mix, because it just further complicates things. Right. There would have to be another move, another piece to the puzzle, as you say, in order for something like this to happen. But quite frankly, I am very intrigued by a very specific hypothetical scenario that I'm going to give to you right now.
Hit me.
And that is the scenario where not only do the Cubs get better by adding Bregman and subtracting Horner, but this only happens if they get way better because they acquire Luis Castillo to slide in between Steele and Imanaga.
Mm-hmm.
And by doing that, you would trade Horner in a package of 2 or 3 top prospects to Seattle for Castillo. You take on 100% of the money. The Mariners would have to take on 100% of Horner's 11.5 M's. And Bregman, at the AAV that MLB trade rumors projected, would be a 26 M's AAV. Okay, so I know I need some help with the math, but doing that
24 minus 13 or 12 for Nico would be 12, plus the 26 takes you 38.
$38 million you would add to your roster. And you know what? For adding Alex Bregman as your everyday third baseman and Luis Castillo to be your number 2 starter, I am rooting for that every single day.
Mm-hmm.
That makes the Cubs better. It's fun. I want to have fun in 2025.
I don't blame you. My only fight on that would be I think if he takes a shorter term deal, the AAV might go up a little bit. So it may be
it's not realistic.
Year 1, 31, 32 with a player option or something along those lines.
Right.
I think they're trying to be really creative. There's some teams, I was reading up over New Year's. I know the Padres are trying to shed salary with Cease and their closer, Robert Suarez.
Arise.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of teams that you could go at and get better. I think the Bregman path's one. Castillo is possible. I mean, the Cubs have about $40+ million to spend. And I'm not over the moon with Bregman. I don't think he
doesn't project that well. He's in his 30s.
I don't really look at him a whole lot different than Paredes, but I do look at it as an upgrade.
Yeah, he's an upgrade.
Yeah, he's an upgrade from there. And then, even if you just got like an average Alex Bregman season like he had last year, that would be worth like 3 wins to the Cubs compared to the production they got at third base. So I'm for it, but it also does have a little bit of this is the only guy that's left and we got money to spend portion of it as well. So I'm not, I'm not losing sleep over it, if you will.
Yeah. And I would venture to say that a long-term deal would be a bad signing.
Yeah, probably so.
But for 1 or 2 years, and you get Luis Castillo back for Horner and Alcantara and whoever else, I would sign up for that. But again, it's very conditional. The 7 years, 182, which coincidentally or not is what Adames got with the Giants. I wouldn't do it. Would not be interested at one percentage point. I would not be interested in that. But for like 2 years, 60 M's or whatever we're talking about here, I would be. I would be. Again, is this something the Cubs are not exactly pursuing? We will have to wait and see. But 100, Sam, is the league average for WRC plus. Fangraphs puts Bregman for 2025 122.
Oh wow,
WRC plus.
nice.
Horner and Shaw projected at the same exact number, 106.
104. Okay.
Yeah. So for 2025, in which they already have put some of their chips on the table with Kyle Tucker, do you do that with the Bregman and Castillo package deal in a sense?
Well, you have to think at some point the Cubs are going to pounce here, because right now this offseason is just so odd. The Boyd signing was odd. Then you do what you need to do with Kelly and Eli Morgan, and then you go all in and you make a huge trade for a superstar guy. And since then, it's been very marginal moves. We talked about Josh Rojas being a target. Mark Feinsand reported that he went off the table today, over to 35th and Shields, which is, not a significant loss by any means. Where I'm just at is I just don't know what the Cubs are thinking. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I just, what's going to happen. But what Jeds has proven to us is we don't really know a whole lot. Nobody had the Paredes deal on their radar last year. And, so you feel like before the Cubs convention, something's going to break and he's going to pounce on something. I just don't know what it's going to be, Matthew.
Yeah, and I'm not too upset or nervous about the pacing right now.
No.
Because we're going to talk about next segment. There's like literally 100 names out there.
No. I'd be nervous if you and I are walking over to the Sheridan and it's snowing and it's about 15 below and we still haven't made a move.
Well, and that's 2 weeks from today. I could see that. I could see that. Why you would be concerned about that.
Yeah. Right around the Cubs.
Well, with that type of weather, I do think we should stay overnight. So
no, I'm gonna stay with you and our other friend.
So WRC plus, by the way, I just want to give you these couple things.
More about this stat again.
Kyle Tucker is 11th in all of baseball.
Let me guess.
42. Sorry.
Forget it.
Guess for the next person. Seiya Suzuki.
132.
I wish. 122.
That's it?
He's second in all of baseball. Yeah.
Oh, so they don't think we're a very good offensive team.
They like the Cubs offense.
What's Swanson at?
Don't have it in front of me. Coming up next, folks, Swanson will always have a high WAR because of his defense.
Yeah.
Coming up next, Matt Cozy's free agent frenzy, I believe I'm going to call it.
Nice.
Stay tuned.
This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. The NFL playoffs are right around the corner, but it's not too late to get in on the regular season action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now new customers can finish the season strong with $250 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. Matt, I got to tell you, New Year's Eve afternoon, the Illinois Fighting Illini.
Oh, yeah.
10-win season. They beat South Carolina. Brett Bielema and their head coach, I think his name's Shane Beamer.
Great season for Illinois.
Did you see the fight between those two guys?
Not yet. I got to watch it.
Oh, it was really something. And we ran the football with them. We controlled the line of scrimmage with them, and we deserved to win that football game as 10-point underdogs. I'm proud of that program. Congrats to Coach Bielema and that football team. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. That's FanDuel.com for your chance at $250 in bonus bets. Just win that first bet. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the National Football League.
All right, how do I want to package this? This is the remaining free agent options for the Cubs' positions of needs. Starting pitcher, relief pitcher, right-handed hitting first baseman, and left-handed hitting third baseman. Okay. So four roster spots, maybe five, if you think they're going to get two relievers.
And they might do, and they might acquire some of these in trade.
Yeah. These are all free agents.
Right.
This is a pretty exhaustive list. Nothing if not a researcher. Although if you look up our show on Reddit, they would say otherwise, that we don't research, we don't use stats. Meanwhile, that's all I do.
Really?
People
have said that?
They've said that. They said we need to research more.
Do we have a Reddit page?
No, the Cubs do. And there's podcast talk on there from time to time.
Oh, I've never been on there.
Yeah. I go on there once in a while.
Oh, that's a shame.
So I have an exhaustive list here, so much so that the relief pitchers here, the program we used to record, I had to break it up into three parts. But let's start with starting pitchers, Sam.
Mm-hmm.
These are the so-called, names that are still on the board. 3 of them, if you go by FIP or ERA on Fangraphs, are above average guys. The rest are average or even below average, according to their 25 projection. But this is the remaining names that you could make a case, hey, they could have an impact in your rotation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, anybody that I bring up today, it's not a reach to say that if the Cubs should not necessarily be targeting anyone outside of these names. Because literally all these categories and names, it adds up to about 60 people. That's a lot. Anyone outside of these 60, it's really not impactful, to be honest with you. I've done too much research. I feel almost.
I'm going to get an Advil.
So here are the pitchers remaining. Again, this is just free agents: Flaherty, Scherzer, Turnbull, Gibson, Lynn, Quintana, Heaney, and Verlander. I would be surprised, Sam, if the Cubs do get Jack Flaherty. I was reading up more on his injury history with his back. I don't think they're going to make that kind of commitment, especially if they got skittish about Luzardo and his history. Any names on here that stick out? I like Scherzer.
I would have to do a deep dive on all of them, which I haven't done. But yeah, I guess you'd like to prefer a righty. The Roki stuff is huge too. Like it does feel like we are one of the 5 or 6 finalists, albeit, that's not great odds.
He's the wild card here for sure.
Does any of them stick out? No. I think Verlander or Scherzer, just because I like the Cubs' depth and they could be really careful with those guys' innings if they had to go that route. Mm-hmm. But I still like the Pablo Lopez trade option any more than any of these free agent names here.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. And again, I'm just trying to inform as well.
No, you don't have to apologize to anyone.
By the way, all these names are in order of their 25 projections.
I'm going to look at this Reddit page after the show.
Okay. Chris Martin has the best projected FIP out of any remaining free agent reliever.
This is a good list here.
These are the guys that are above average or better, according to their 25 projection. Chris Martin, Tanner Scott, David Robertson, Jeff Hoffman, Joe Kelly, a couple lefties, AJ Minter and Caleb Ferguson, Kirby Yates, Danny Colombe, former Oriole, and Luis Garcia, former Oriole.
I the only hard pass.
These are the 10 best names remaining.
Yeah, I don't know about Joe Kelly. Everyone else I'd be pretty on board with. I really would.
I think that would be really good signing.
These are good names here.
Yeah, this is the bucket where if they sign one of these names, you're like, all right, let's roll.
Yeah.
This next group is the average group, I would say. And I kept Thielbar's name in here to show you where he ranks. He was like the 15th best reliever remaining.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where he ranks. This is the next bucket of names right here. You got names like Kenley Jansen, Kyle Finnegan, who's been connected to the Cubs.
Oh, sure.
And more. Ryan Baracki's in here, Sam. I believe you got a hit off him.
A couple.
And then the last group of names is average to below average, which is led by Carlos Estevez, who some lists rank him as a really high up there reliever, maybe even a 3-year deal. Hopefully the Cubs stay away from that one. Fangraphs does not like him.
Wow, this is a lot.
And Jorge Lopez is in that list too.
Can you go back to the last group of gentlemen?
Yeah.
Ryan Stanek was a guy. He really struggled with the Mets, I guess, last year.
Yeah.
He was a guy I thought was a little bit better than what he was. This is there's a lot of guys here.
There's a lot of names still available for sure. Yeah, that's why I
Pass
don't
on
understand
Barlow.
people.
I had Barlow on fantasy last year for a little while. He just throws sliders every time.
Yeah.
Jansen
All
would be
right.
fun.
Yeah, Chafin coming back as a lefty would be cool.
Well, we got to talk about their Thielbar because I have a question for you. Like, is that their lefty now?
I think it might be, yeah. Which, if it is, they need to get one of these righties then.
Yeah, one of the top righties.
Martin, Robertson, Hoffman, maybe Kelly and Yates.
So
Garcia.
it sounds like we're heading into mid to late March, and it's Porter Hodges' job to close baseball game.
As of right now, 100%.
Now, if you sign a guy like Kenley Jansen, doesn't he have to start the year with the 9th though?
I think so. Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of what he does, you know.
All right, right-handed hitting first baseman right here.
Yeah, I'm excited about this list.
Turner, Canha,
Mark Canha.
Yeah. Joe,
Connor
Solano,
Joe,
Drury, Davis, and France.
This is a good. Any of these guys would suffice.
Yeah.
Any of them
right.
suffice. Yeah. Any of them would do the job. I actually like Mark Canha. His numbers aren't good, but he does a good
like him a lot too.
He does a good job. He's kind of like a good solid AB type of guy. Can work at bats. Ty France, Drury. Yeah. Any of these guys. Did Alonso re-sign yet? No, right?
Not yet.
Yeah, but you don't have him on.
I'm excluding him. No.
Yeah. Because I would argue he's a better hitter than Bregman.
Yeah, he is, but he is a little better. Yeah.
But he's not a realistic landing spot for our club.
Left-handed hitting third base options. I have Josh Rojas' name on here still because he was still unsigned when I did this. But you could cross him off now. Polanco, Moncada, Frazier, Toro, Kama Abraham, and Biggio. And that's an order of war. What is it good for?
Yeah, let's move on.
So Jorge Polanco, former All-Star.
Yeah, right.
Be a nice ad for the third base.
No, he would. He would.
And second short, he could play as well.
He would be a good ad. You're right.
Moncada, keep it.
Yeah.
Frazier, Toro, fine. Biggio, no thanks.
Yeah, no, there's a lot. Man, there's a lot to get done here. I'd like to see some Jeff Passan tweets. I'd like to see some action.
So that's my free agent frenzy. And there's a lot of names on there. You don't get that anyplace else, just here.
I'm going to go on.
If you do, they copied us.
I'm going to go on Reddit.
Okay. All right, coming up next, we close out the show. The Cubs did make a signing
Kevin
on
Durant,
New Year's Eve. We tell you about it next. Today's episode is brought to you by GameTime. Whether it's a Cubs game, comedy show, or a concert, I love going to live events. And now GameTime has a new feature called GameTime Picks that makes getting tickets for your favorite live events even easier. GameTime Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets with clear last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee. GameTime takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets. The experience of searching for and then buying tickets on GameTime is simple. Plus, GameTime is the only ticketing app that gives you complete peace of mind with your purchase. See the view from your seat before you buy, so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive. Download the GameTime app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your purchase. Terms do apply. Again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download the GameTime app today. What time is it?
Game time.
On Tuesday, the Cubs signed relief pitcher Caleb Thielbar to a one-year, $2.75 million deal. The lefty spent the last many seasons with the Twins, and at least for now, I would say immediately, slots into the opening day bullpen. Sam, I'm hoping you can give us some insight into what Thielbar has, what he's done, and then, what could they do after this?
Yeah, I mean, I don't. So he had a bad year last year. he's always been a pretty good strikeout guy in his career. And he's had a good career. Like, he's had a good career. And really last year was the first major hiccup. Every year he's been in the low to mid threes in ERA. The concerning part that I remember, I don't have it in front of me, but was in 2023, he had a good ERA, but his FIP skyrocketed. And then last year his ERA skyrocketed along with that. You know what I mean? So, he's not trending in the best direction, but maybe they see something with him.
Lefty specialist, right?
Yeah. I have his splits here. I'm just waiting. I have it in my notes. But he strikes out guys.
Yeah.
I was a little bit surprised that he, if he's the lefty, just because of the year that he had last year. But yeah, so he dominates lefties for the most part in his career and struggles mightily against righties. So, it's kind of like, I guess you're right. It's kind of like the Holby Milner signing, that version of that. Just didn't have a great year last year, but he's had a pretty good career. And, that was really the most I got into it. A lot of these reliever signings aren't going to be sexy per se. They're going to be just, they're going to be fillers. You'd like to have one where you feel really good about it. But this one is one of those where, let's check back in late May and see how he's doing.
Do you think they need to open the year with two lefties in there? Because they have Rob Zastryzny and Luke Little as internal options right
100%. 100%.
Okay.
I like Mark Leiter Jr. and I liked him a lot, but that whole righty to get out lefty things was really confusing. And they need some true lefties in their bullpen, and so now they have three right now.
They do, and I would probably put two of those in the projection.
Yeah, one of them won't make the team.
Yeah. And in the case of Rob Z, it probably would just go to another team.
Yeah.
I really think the Cubs should be focused now on a high impact righty. One of those first 5 to 7 names that we listed earlier in the show. I really think so. Chris Martin, Kirby Yates, Kenley Jansen, Andrew Kittredge, someone like that. So hopefully David Robertson, old friend. So hopefully they can get something like that done. Jeff Hoffman could be a really interesting name because he could also start for you. If he's looking to do what Clay Holmes did with the Mets.
No.
So we'll just keep an eye on it.
One bigger name reliever that we feel good about. One starter that might be acquired in a trade. Another bat, and we go from there.
Yeah. So you would be fine with just one external bench piece.
No. I know. I just think one of them is not gonna be a major thing. I don't think they're gonna get two bigger names for that.
Okay,
it could just be an under the radar. We find out. You know what I mean? Just a depth piece.
Well, I think with the Brujan trade earlier this week, I'm sorry to say, but I don't think they're going to. I don't necessarily think anymore they're going to add someone on a major league deal for third.
So you think Shaw's just got a free runway, unless it's Bregman?
For the most part.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's smart though.
Yeah, I don't think smart's the right word. I think it's like it's just how risky is it? Again, where I am at with the Cubs is 2025 a playoffs or break season? If it's a playoffs or break season, then you got to make sure you have some insurance in these different areas. And if you go get Kyle Tucker, then should it be that? But I also am starting to be concerned that they just got the Kyle Tucker thing because, hey, you know what? It actually saves us some money. It helps us be good for next year. And, it'll put fans in the seats and we can move on from there. So all the remaining moves of the season will tell you how serious they are about going to win this division.
Thank you so much for checking out this edition of Locked On Cubs. You give us 20 to 30 minutes. We'll give you all things Cubs with a laugh or two along the way. Be sure to hit subscribe on YouTube, smash the like button for the algorithm, and leave a 5-star review on Apple, Spotify, and everywhere you get your podcasts. All right, we'll be back on Monday. Keep an eye out, Sam. Can we do keep an eye out on our socials.
Yeah.
For a possible Monday episode preview. Don't necessarily want to do that now.
No.
But we keep an eye out on our socials.
Mm-hmm.
He's Sam Olber. I'm Matt Cozy. This is Locked On Cubs.
Go Cubs.